Okay, today you're going to be, this is April the 22nd and 23rd, day 2 on your, if you'll look on the very front page of your sequences, this is the day 2 lesson. It's going to be due on Wednesday and Thursday. The teaching part on Wednesday, the lesson on the homework lesson on Thursday. So you'll need to do both of those, and you'll need to keep up with the assignments and not get behind. Today you're going to be working on monomials and multiplying by a polynomial. A monomial times a polynomial. To multiply a monomial and a polynomial, simply distribute the monomial to the polynomial. A polynomial is when it's right here. So you're just going to distribute. For exponents, recall the product rule. So if you have two monomials, you're just going to add the exponents, and that's what we learned. If you're using a monomial and a polynomial is 2 terms, you multiply x times x, which is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. And that's all you do. So the first thing you do is you're going to distribute, then you're going to apply the product rule, because x times x is x1 plus x1 makes x squared. That's how you got that. Let's look at example 2. You have 5m cubed, and you multiply that times your first term, you multiply that times your second term, you multiply that times your third term. So you're going to have 3 numbers multiplied. You first multiply your whole number. 5 times 3 is 15, so you have your 5 times your 3, times your m, 3 plus 2, minus 5, which is 5 times 1 is 5, m cubed plus m1 minus 5 times 7, and because there's no m's, you're just going to put m cubed. So then you multiply it. 3 times 5 is 15, m to the 3 plus 2, which is 5, minus 5m, 3 plus 1 is 4, minus 35m cubed. And that is your final answer. You're going to find each product, and then final answers must be in standard form. Standard form means you have to have the highest exponent to the lowest exponent, and the exponents in ABC form. So you're going to try. So here, if you have k times k minus 9, you do k 1 times, use the product rule, k 1 plus 1 times 9k times negative 9, which a positive times a negative is negative 9k. Your final answer is k squared minus 9k. You're going to always have to watch your signs when you're doing these. Make sure that if it's a minus, a negative times a negative is always a positive. A negative times a positive is always a negative. And a positive times a positive is a positive. Let's look at the next one. 9a, you're going to distribute this. 9a to the first term, 9a to the second term. So 9a, 1 plus 1, right here, equals 9a squared. 9a times plus 1 is just 9a. Going to go to the next one. We see that you have a negative 6p times p to the 4th. So you're going to multiply. 6 times 1 is 6. And you remember there's a negative, so don't forget that negative sign. P to the 1 plus 4. 4 plus 1. Plus negative 6 times negative 8 makes a positive 48. And there's no p, so you just put your p. So when you find your final answer, It's 6p to the 4 plus 1 is 5 plus 48p. Here, you're going to distribute the same way. Distribute your first term, distribute your second term. 3c to the 5th power. And do you see this is a negative, so you have to be very careful there. So a positive times a negative is a negative 6. C to the 5th plus 1, so it's 5 plus 1, that's the product rule. And then 3 times 5 is 15. C to the 5th power stays the same. So then you just put them together. Negative 6c to the 6th minus 15c to the 5th. Then you're going to go to this one. Same thing. You have a negative and a positive, which gives you a negative 8. G squared plus 1g1, g to the 1st power, minus negative 4 times a positive 7 is a negative 28 g squared. So here you have a negative 8 g to the 3rd minus 28 to the g squared. This one has 3 terms, so you're going to have 3 numbers over here. x1 times x squared is x2 plus 1, which is 3. Minus x to the 1st power minus x would be a negative. Make sure you change that. A positive and a negative makes a negative 1 plus 1, which would be an x squared. And then x times 3 is just 3x. So then when you put it all together, it's x cubed minus x squared plus 3x. Let's look at the next one. You have negative 3n plus times n to the 2nd, so it's 1 plus 2. Negative and a negative make a positive. 6n, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus negative times a positive is a negative 24n. So then you simplify that. Negative 3n to the 3rd plus 6n squared minus 624n. Now when you're going to do number 8, look at number 8. Here's a 4. You have a negative here. You see that you're going to have a negative here, so you're going to change the sign. These are going to be negative. 2 times 6 is 12. X to the 4th, so it's 4 plus 2, and I just put that down here like this, so I'm simplifying it a little better. So I know it's going to be x 4 plus 2, and I know it's going to be x 4 plus 1, and this is just going to be x to the 4th. So when you do that, you have 12 x to the 6th. 2 times negative 2 times negative 12, you need to make sure you do that, is a positive 24. X to the 4 plus 1 is 5. And then negative 2 times 18 is negative 36. X to the 4th stays the same because there's nothing to multiply. You see I had 3 terms here. You're going to have 3 terms here, and remember you multiplied. Okay, this one we haven't done one where we had 2 variables. You still can only multiply like terms. So p squared, p to the 5th would be p 2 plus 5. And then you have q to the 3rd, q to the squared is q3 plus 2. So we have 3, 2 plus 5, and 3 plus 2, which is p7, q5. Then you go to this term. You see that this is a negative. Make sure you be careful with that. Negative, so you are going to have a negative because it's a negative times a positive, so you can go ahead and put that negative number. P2 plus P1 is P3. Q3 plus Q1 is Q4. Let's look at this one. You have 3 terms. You have all positive, so they're all going to be positive. 3 x, you see that there's no y here. So you go x, 1 plus 2, or 2 plus 1, so x is to the third power, but y you're just going to copy down because we don't have any y to multiply it by, just like we didn't have a 3 to multiply it by. Here, 3 times 1 is 3, x plus x, x times x would be 1 plus 1, which makes that squared. Y times y, y plus 1 is 2, which is y squared. So it's 3x squared y squared. Plus, then you look at this one. 3x is not here, so you just copy down your 3x because it's times 1. And then y to the first plus y to the second is y to the third. And that's your final answer. Okay, let's look at this one. They just get more complicated. If you just do each term and follow the rules, the product rule and distribute, you'll be fine. So when we look at this, we look at 5 times a negative 2. We see this as negative, which is negative 10. So make sure you put that. Then you have R2 times R2, which makes R2 plus 2, which makes 4. Then you have S, no S squared here, so you do not put an S. There's no, there's nothing here, but you still are multiplying with this S squared, so you're going to put an S squared. You don't multiply it by anything. Okay? Plus, then you start your next term. It's positive, so it's going to be plus. 3 times 5 is 15. R squared plus R1 is R3. S2 plus S1 is S3. So it's going to be 15 R3 S3. 5 times a negative 4, we have a negative 4 here, so it's a negative 20, so you need to make sure you get that sign correct. Then you have R squared, there's no R squared, you just copy it down. S squared plus S squared is S to the 4th. So then you combine those, and that is your final answer. Minus 10 R to the 4th, S squared plus 15 R cubed, S cubed, minus 20 R squared, S to the 4th. Okay, let's look at this one right here. Simple, it's just a simple multiplication. 3 times 4 is 12. A2 plus A1 is A3. B, no B term, so you just copy your B. B plus 1 plus 0. Minus, you see there's a negative. 3 times 7 is 21. A to the 1 plus 0, which is 1. B to the 1 plus 3, which is 4. So your final answer is 12A cubed B minus 21A to the B to the 4th power. Okay, let's look at number 13. You have negative 7 times a positive 9. You have 2 terms, so you're going to have 2 terms in your answer. So it's negative 63. C to the 3rd, C to the squared is 3 plus 2, which makes 5. D squared plus D squared is D to the 4th. I mean, you're multiplying, but you're adding your exponents. Negative 7 times negative 4 makes a positive 28. Don't miss that sign right there. C3 plus C is C4. D squared plus D squared, D to the 5th is D to the 7th. 5 plus 2 is 7. 14, same way. 10 times a negative 2 is a negative 20. M to the 4th times M is M to the 5th. N times N to the 3rd is 1 plus 3 is 4. Plus 10 times 3 is 30. m to the 4th, there's no m's, so you just copy it down. N times n is n squared. Okay, and these you're going to distribute, use your product rule, and then you're going to combine your like terms. Because you see that you are using your distribution, this is your distribution, you're multiplying, but then in the last unit, the last lesson, you added and subtracted. So you're going to do your multiplication first and your distribute, then you're going to add or subtract. So, and when you add and subtract, you just combine like terms. So you need to remember to combine like terms. So here we distribute minus 6, it's negative, minus 6x squared plus 2 times 4, negative 2 and negative 2 make a positive 8. Don't miss that. X, just copy your x. And then you have plus 7x. Well, we can add these two terms together because they're like terms. So we're going to put our negative 6x squared plus 8 plus 7 is 15. We combine those like terms. Here, you're going to distribute here, you're going to distribute here, and then it says to subtract. So you're going to distribute this one, then you're going to distribute this one, and then you're going to subtract the equation. You have to do these in order. So we distribute first, negative 35w squared plus 15w, because we have a w there. Then subtract 26, 2 times 13 is 26w. Negative 2, negative 9 is positive 18w. Make sure you do not miss that on those two negative terms right there. Then you just combine your like terms. We don't have a cube anywhere. So we put 18w cubed minus 35w squared, because you have to put these in order from largest exponent to smallest exponent in ABC order. Then we see positive 15w and negative 26w makes a negative 11w. You combine those like terms. So that is your final answer on that one. And on the back, you're going to distribute. You're going to use your product rule. You're going to combine like terms to answer these questions. Let's look at 17. You're going to distribute, and then combine that like term. So this would be y squared plus 4y, because y times 4, minus y squared, minus and a minus make a positive, 3y minus 9. We didn't have to do anything to this term right here. Now you're going to put the y's together. You have this one, you have this one, and you have that one. So, and you put your y squared, positive y squared, and a negative y squared makes no y squared. Then you have y, 4y plus 3y is 7y. So you have 7y minus 9y gives you negative 2y. And you see right here that this positive and this negative cancels each other out, and that's the reason you don't have a squared term. Look at this one. You have 6 times 2, which is 12, x squared, minus 6 times 3, because it's negative, is 18. 6 times negative 3, and then just put your x. Then you have your subtract sign. 5 times 2x is 10, x squared, minus 5 times 9, negative 5, times positive 9 is a negative 45, plus negative 5 times negative 3 is a positive 15. So you've distributed that. Now you're going to combine your like terms. We see there's 2 squared numbers, and we see there's 3 two x terms, and then there's 15 by itself. So 12 minus 10 is 2. Negative 18, negative 45 is a negative 63, and your 15 stays the same. Let's look at this one. Two times 6 is 12. 12, and you see this is a y and this is an x, so you're just going to put that 12xy minus 8x squared y1 plus y1 is y2 plus 13x squared y squared minus 6. Then you're just going to combine your terms, which is 5x squared y squared plus 12xy minus 6. You just combine those terms. Make sure you're looking at your signs. We're going to do this one right here, number 21. You can do 20 on your own, or you can copy that answer down. I'm going to let you look at 21 and how I did that. I distribute 21. 3v times 7v is 21v squared minus 6v plus 3v squared plus 6v plus 3 minus, and a minus makes a plus 15v squared minus 9v. And sometimes all of that together, if you will just put those, here's your first term, second term, third term, and then add them up, it's so much easier. I put all my v squares together. I make sure I look at my signs, and then I look at my negatives, my v's, and there was only 1 3. And so then I just I found it 39v squared minus 9v plus 3. And those, you're just going to have to do the steps. Distribute, use your product rule, and then combine your like terms. Remember to really watch your signs. Watch your signs, because that's going to mess you up on the answers. You can do 22, 23, and 24 on your own. Number 24 has a bracket, and you're not going to do anything different in that, except you're going to combine these terms here in the bracket. You have an a squared and an a squared here. But you copy it down and you distribute this one. This one had to be distributed right here, and that was really hard to see inside your bracket. So then you had 2a squared minus 15ab plus plus 10, this is a 10b squared. And then you take this whole thing and you got to multiply by 4b. So then you have to do each term by 4b. And then you still have this 29ab squared there. Then you combine those, and then you get your final answer. So this one you have to do step by step by step. Pause this, look at how I did this, and see if you can work that one out. It's a lot of steps. Let's go on. Find the area of the trapezoid as a simplified expression. So area equals 1/2 the height, base 1 plus base 2. You need to know that. So all you're going to do is a equal 1/2, 4x squared is the height, 8x plus 3x plus 2x to the third minus x. So really what you're distributing is this 1/2 to this, and then you're going to, first combine these like terms over here. So then you have 2x cubed plus 8x squared plus 2x, because I combined all of these like terms in this parentheses. Then I multiplied my 1/2 by my 4x, which would be 2x squared. Then I can distribute this to the rest of it. So you had to do your combining your like terms right there. And then you get 4x to the 5th plus 16x to the 4th plus 4x cubed. And then the last one is, first of all, area is length times width, but you're wanting the piece that is out here, the shaded piece. So what you do is you find the area of the outside, the area of the inside, and you subtract the two. So it is 6x times 8x minus 1 is the first area. The second area is 2x times 5x minus 3, and that just sets it up into a simple equation. You're going to distribute first. So you're going to distribute this, and that's what you get. You're going to distribute this, and that's what you get. Then you're going to combine your like terms. We see this as a subtract. So if you have 48x squared minus 6x minus a 10x squared minus a positive 6 makes that a negative 6x. So that's where you had to change these signs. This positive, this becomes a positive, this becomes a negative. So be careful when you're subtracting that you change the signs of all your terms. And that concludes this lesson. You will have Wednesday to finish the lesson and complete the entire lesson and submit that. And then Thursday you'll just do the homework page. It's just one page. Good luck on this. If you have any questions, just request a Zoom meeting. Thank you.